2020,
Yes,
and
it
we are
is.
grateful to you tuning in with us for another webisode,
Installment.
another webisode of Late Night with the Harvins. We're
Oh, I'm
excited to
showing my
be
stuff. Wait a
we're,
minute now.
we're excited to be on with you tonight,
Yes.
and thank you so much for taking time out of your Friday night to come and have some candid conversation and relevant. I forgot what I put in there. Relevant reflection. Yeah, relevant
Relevant
reflection
reflection. Come on
on
now.
love and marriage
With the
and life.
alliteration. Come on.
And that's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we do. Glad to be on tonight.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
hopeful that everyone survived another week of shenanigans in our country, and you are encouraged and hopeful because there are great things going on. And how about that debate?
How about that
How about
senator?
that debate?
Yes.
I'm just gonna say one little phrase, and you'll know where I stand on the debate. I
I
will
will
not
not
be
be.
lectured.
I will not be lectured. I will not.
For me,
Listen.
that was the takeaway of the night,
It was
and
amazing.
so I hope that you had an opportunity, if not to watch all of it. We sat and watched every single minute of it,
Yes. It
and
was
I hope that
outstanding.
you
Outstanding.
also prized yourself to some of what we heard in the hours and now the days following the debate. Just illustrating the places of exaggeration and delusionment, and just the perpetuation of what we have seen for these 3 years and 9 months. And I'm hoping
Jesus,
that
let it be so.
everyone across our sphere of influence are number one committed to vote, number two
Vote.
committed to making our nation better, putting us back on track and never undermining who we are again. And one more thing about that, then we're gonna go to tonight's topic because it's
Yes.
way more exciting
Way more.
and way
Yay.
more joyful for us. But I want everyone to continue in prayer for the governor of Michigan and for other elected officials who are being the subject of just hate crimes and just all manner of, just gonna sound real churchy right here, wickedness, as people who differ in opinion from them would even threaten their lives and the life and well-being of their families. But we declare in our nation it will not be so. America is better than this behavior, and so we speak a word of dismantling and destruction to domestic terrorists. And
Yes.
we declare that this will be a peaceful land where we all abide with safety and sanctity. Let's see who we have on with us tonight.
Please
Good
do us a
evening.
favor and share,
Thank you.
share.
Thank you,
Host a
Adrian
watch
Brown,
party.
on with
We didn't
us
say that.
tonight. Oh, host a watch party.
Thank
It's been
you.
scrolling across the bottom.
Right, but
Welcome
we
to Late
always say
Night.
it.
Click and share, invite and empower, look and live. Come on, do it tonight.
Look and live.
All right. Good to have
Oh, Shauna
Adrian.
Warren's on.
But Adrian Brown's on. Let's
Hey,
shout out Adrian.
Happy
Thank you
birthday. Is
for
today her
joining us
birthday?
on the birthday weekend. Birthday's on Sunday.
Yes,
So
yes,
thank
yes,
you for
yes.
sharing the birthday weekend with us, kicking it off right. Hey, Deacon Lori.
Deacon
Hey,
Michelle Hall
Deacon
Davis.
Michelle on with us. I can only see right here.
Shauna Warren is on from North Carolina. Hey, Shauna, and my favorite deacon down in North Carolina. Daria Kimber's on from New York City. Hey, Dari girl.
All right.
Mother Henson and the Zimmermans are on.
All right, Tyrone is in the house. Come on, Pastor Overseer, Doctor Bishop Elect Zimmerman. I know I
New
just
Jersey's
did
in the
too
house.
much.
What's
I
going
did
on,
too
New
much right there.
Jersey?
Good to have
Mother
the
Lucy's
Zimmermans
on.
with us tonight. I just did too much. It just went too far.
Yes.
All right. So tonight we call this the Young Love Edition because last weekend our family reached a significant milestone in that the youngest in the Proctor clan and the eldest in the Harvin clan reached their wonderful milestone of the first wedding anniversary. The first wedding anniversary.
First one.
And we are so abundantly proud of them,
God be
just
proud.
in general, but for truth, just crossing that wonderful milestone last weekend just brought back for us all the joy of that weekend for our family. And this is the poster we had from their rehearsal dinner. This is the night before forever. This was
Yes.
October 3rd, and they made us so proud. What a
Absolutely.
wonderful milestone in our family. And so tonight we thought it would be really nice to bring on the young Harvins and
Young
have them
Harvins,
come
come on.
talk about their journey to love and marriage and what this first year of marriage has been like in the pandemic. And I mean, absolutely for sure. I'm sure when they imagined and dreamed and planned their first year in marriage, they never thought of this kind of
Of anniversary.
experience. There was certainly no mask and no physical and social distancing over there at the young Harvins in their first year. But I never thought, I know they never thought that they'd be this close, this long in the first 12 months. So I want everybody in the late night with the Harvins family to welcome on the screen, not for the first time because they've been on with us before, the young Harvins, Durant and Deanne, all the way from Tampa, Florida. Good evening.
Hey,
Young Harvins, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Glad to have you on.
we gonna have
All
you
right, bro.
turn one of your devices down.
It's the speaker. We're gonna turn it off.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, so how's it going down in Tampa?
You good?
Good.
Y'all
You
good?
know, it's going well. Thank you so much for having us. I wish you gave us a little heads up that it was formal. We wouldn't be in our t-shirts. We thought we were gonna match you guys with matching shirts.
No, you are with
You all look fabulous.
y'all look fabulous, and we like your matching t-shirts with the Forever Infinity Love
Is
logos.
that what that
Oh,
is?
let me put you on
Forever
the screen by
Harvin.
yourself so everybody can see your logos.
Y'all know the
As
vibes.
come on, watch this. Everybody, look at the young Harvins coming
Come
on
on, young
with
Harvin,
their
show us how to do
Infinity
it.
logos. Look at this right here.
Oh, I'm on the wrong side.
Okay, we got a full
Yeah, yeah,
screen. Now
yeah,
we just need
yeah.
a little bit of entry music. Then we be good. We got-
You can't have any music. You can't have any music. This is our show. Y'all want music? Get your own show.
Get your own
You got it.
show.
You got it.
So we're glad to have you guys on tonight. Let me do something so at least our headroom will try to match.
Maybe. Okay.
Okay, that's a little better. I don't like it with this. The headroom is so high. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. All right. So as we talked about tonight, we want to just discuss and let the world share in what has been your journey to love, and then subsequently your journey to marriage, and then lastly what this first year of marriage has looked like. I mean, the reality of it, both the joys and the challenges, and we'll go from there. Then we'll take some questions, and trust me when I tell you, we'll burn this hour up so fast that you'll ask the question, where has the time gone? And we'll know it's time to go home because guess what? That soundtrack music will start again. So, talk about your
okay.
journey. Look, I want you really to talk about, watch this, how you
Let him
came
talk.
together and nobody knew until it was something to know.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't on the a lot of questions, but
Yes, it was. That's right there in that part.
I'm
The
about to treat him
journey
like
to
The
Susan.
love.
journey to love.
you should
Look,
not treat like
yes,
Susan.
one thing we learned about the debate is we do not have to actually answer the question. We have our own agenda.
I love that
I love
answer,
it. I
Mrs.
love it.
Harvin.
I
I
love
love
that.
that answer.
If that's what we're gonna do, follow the example of leadership in the land.
I can't argue with
We can
that.
hear a question clearly articulated and talk about something completely
Totally off,
different.
right, off subject.
Yep.
Yes.
But I'll answer that question. You know, Durant and I, people don't believe it, but we really did start as just friends. Like, Durant was my best friend. You know, he actually tried to hook me up with one of his friends, but when he saw that one of his friends was actually pursuing me, that's when he said, "Hold up, let me pump the brakes." You don't remember that?
All right.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know we was being that real tonight. My fault, y'all.
and that's something
Wow.
that inquiring minds didn't know about. All right,
Mm-hmm.
here.
Yeah.
So you started off as friends.
Mm-hmm.
hmm That
Okay.
was it.
That
Like,
was it.
yeah, it really was just friends, and then it just kind of built from there. Like, it really wasn't. There was no motivation to it. It just kind of built.
Okay.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So friends and both of you being PKs.
Yes.
What was that like?
Well, I slid in his DMs because he was a PK, and I saw him around the avenue a couple times. I'm like, okay, he's cute. We'll see what's up. But
You have to tell people what the avenue is. Everybody doesn't know.
Pennsylvania Avenue.
AME Zion, to be
Church.
specific.
Yes, for rush hour services.
She wasn't just on the block.
Yeah, you're right. I should have cleared that up.
I'm about to say.
But it was interesting to say the least because there were just so many eyes on us and people had their own agendas for us and perspectives of what this was. So we just really had to learn right then and there that it's what we make it and keeping whatever to ourselves.
Yeah. It was a quick lesson on knowing who's in your circle and who you allow in your space, because especially at that point, it was a situation where a lot of, I would say, younger preachers and younger people in the church just were trying to gravitate towards us, just trying to ride the wave. And so we just had to make quick decisions on, all right, we ain't dealing with that. We like y'all, so we're going to run with y'all. And we had people that stepped up for us. So it was big.
Wow. Okay. So then it transitioned, and when did you all decide to let the parentals know?
So the funny thing is, Duran and I joined Facebook probably in 2008. And when you join Facebook as a middle high school. So when you join Facebook, you kind of address who you connected to in the beginning. And for some reason, it said that Duran and I were engaged. And that got out. And I know my parents found that out. Oh my God, that's because we were still just friends. So the time when we finally told y'all we were together, which was 2009, a whole year later.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we were very much surprised. I really feel like we found out at the time of proms, like junior proms or something.
That's about right.
That sounds about right.
I sent somebody. I was supposed to go to prom with. I won't name her. I was supposed to go to prom with a young lady from my school, and I canceled her and took the.
Wait a minute, you canceled it.
Yes.
So she was. Mommy probably know more than dad did. Remember, I always had the older people in the school wanting to go to prom with me and stuff like that. So y'all good?
Yeah, we good.
Oh, so yeah, I always had the older people trying to, like the upperclassmen trying to take me to prom and stuff.
I remember that.
Yeah, so
I was like, oh no.
The girl like forced her way into my junior prom.
I remember.
So I kind of just ran with it, like, all right, cool, whatever. Upperclassmen, she drive, I don't drive. Let's do it. You know what I mean? And then we started rocking, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to not buy a dress yet.
Wait a minute, I remember that. I remember that.
Yes.
The weird part,
she was all up in her feelings about that.
Yeah. So the weird part was when we got to the front door of prom, she was standing there, dressed regular, like just taking pictures with all the people she knew that was at prom, and she was nice. It was just really weird that she was standing there.
Yeah. I don't remember that part. I don't remember about her being at the prom.
Well, we weren't at the prom, so we wouldn't.
Yeah, you weren't there.
I feel like I should have heard that story.
We didn't hear that.
Plenty of stories y'all ain't heard.
I know.
Stories we haven't heard. Okay, I don't think I want to hear them tonight. Let's reserve them for time at the beach or something. All right.
Yes.
So now here we are, and we are a year out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how has your first year of marriage been? Well, how has it met your expectations, and what changed? What was surprising?
You want me to go? Or you want to go?
Okay. So when I thought of our first year of marriage, I thought of beaches, travel, probably hitting a couple different continents, getting some passport stamps, drinking some daiquiris, loving, living life, fun to the fullest, no kids, just us enjoying each other. But
You heard that. Go ahead.
Well, it seems to me that was successful with the exception of the passport stamps because there's been nobody but the two of y'all.
But go ahead.
exactly, but I was expecting the beaches and, something outside of these four walls. Little did I know that COVID-19 was going to hit because I was actually being proactive. I had all of our trips up into October booked.
Mm-hmm.
I had hotels booked, Airbnb, flights, everything. I was super excited. Yeah, the only thing I didn't book was our London and Africa trip. That was it.
Okay.
They were already planned and everything. So when COVID hit, it just stopped us right in our tracks. Everything that we thought we knew, thought we were going to do, looking forward to, stopped, paused, canceled like Durant did his date. Like everything just shifted for us. But another thing that happened was we just had to really come to terms with ourselves and each other, even the things that we weren't even fond about. We had to address them head on. Like there was no distractions, nothing that was blocking us from seeing it. And that was a really good blessing in all of that. And I would say that my biggest takeaway from COVID-19, there were a lot of them, but because this year has not been easy in the slightest. There have been several highs, but also the lowest of lows. Like you guys know, this year has been crazy, but definitely one of the biggest takeaways, and that I'll tell any and everybody, is that I like my husband. I like him.
Oh,
This is my best friend. We laugh about the craziest things. We just have enjoyed each other to a new level.
that's
Okay.
awesome.
All right. That's awesome.
That is wonderful to hear. That's wonderful to hear.
So now, can you say more about what it means to have the opportunity to be face to face, to confront the things you don't like, and how if you were talking to a couple that is 12 and 24 months behind you in the road who may not have the gift of time. And I mean, that's a positive spin on this pandemic, the gift of time to be at home. Can you say more about what that process looks like?
I honestly think that this year so far has been the fact that it's been beneficial to us is just a reflection of the fact that we did the work prior to it.
Okay.
I think this is a moment where you either show up and rise to the occasion or you get exposed.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. Show up and rise to the occasion or get exposed.
Wow.
That was good.
Oh, wow. I felt like I was on Oprah just now.
That was excellent, son.
But
Okay.
that's really what it is. It's like there's no hiding. You can't run in. You can't say, oh, I got to go to work. I got to go work out. I got to go to the store. You can't blame it on errands. Oh, we're too busy to have this conversation. Or we too busy to, oh, I didn't realize we were like this. No, that can't happen. Like you here. We're in this house,
Right. And there's no place else to go.
And that's it. Like, and then even if you do go somewhere, you ain't going with nobody but this person because so it's an enlightenment for me. Like, I always do sports analogies. For me, it's like, it's one-on-one. Like you don't have no help. You on this island, figure it out, and if you can't figure it out, that means you skipped a step before you got here.
Also, to touch on your point, what we would recommend to couples who didn't have this time and already 12, 24 months in, we actually did it with one of our close couple friends. Duran and I read a book that just shed so much light on us, and there were so many gems in it. And they came up on their 2nd year anniversary last month, and we just sent them this book. We said, we really pray that it can enlighten you all the way that it did us in just our first couple of months of marriage. And they reached out. They said, y'all don't even know what this is going to do for us. So definitely just encouraging them to read and learn and grow. And like they
Okay, so you have to tell us what the name of the book is.
Off top of it.
The Four Laws of Love.
The Four Laws of Love.
The Four Laws of Love.
Okay, just so everybody can hear that. The Four Laws of Love.
And it's an easy read.
Yeah.
It's a very easy read. We basically just went through each law, stopped, had a little breakdown of it, and then you move on. Just
Okay.
set deadlines on when it needs to be read. Hold those deadlines accountable. I need a little help with that, but
Mhm.
it actually was helpful.
All right.
So I see that your cousin's on, Jamisha, and she and Tevin will be married in a couple of weeks. Right? So what would you say? Yes, come on, Mish and Tevin. So what would you say to them? What advice would you give them? What words of wisdom would you give them right now as they prepare?
That's ironic. We just had this conversation with them like last week. So we talked to them like what, weekly? Every other week, something like that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So basically, the advice that I gave and that we gave was specifically for this moment right now, as far as like they're about to start their union, to understand that this is their union. It's very easy coming into weddings and engagement parties and all this other stuff. Fun, great stuff, but at the end of the day, it comes and goes. So I was very specific about understand that these are your moments, and if you don't want to do something, you don't have to.
Right.
Nobody else is going to be there after this day comes and goes.
That's right.
Nobody's going to pay your bills, and if they are, let me know who those people are because I want to do business with them. But it's on
Me
you.
too.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
you can make your own decisions. You don't have to take nothing from nobody. Oh yeah, and then well, that's a whole nother segment. Like the fact that when you elevate, everybody can't go with you. You know, so
Hmm. Say more about that.
Say that one more time. Just say that and frame it that same way.
when you elevate, everybody can't go with you. Yeah, everybody can't go with you when you elevate.
So who are we leaving where they choose to stay?
So go ahead if you want to go.
No, it's
so-
your own people, your own family, your
Yeah.
own
Say
friends.
it.
It can be anybody. Like, and so I was talking about this earlier with D. There's two sides of that I just thought about last night. Like it kind of woke me up in the middle of the night. One side is the obvious side that everybody knows is some people they just can't come. Like some friends that you were with before you got married, some family that you was running with before you got married. Some of them can't handle it and they just disappear. Some people just can't handle your success. So they gotta go because it makes them feel a way about themselves. It's not even a reflection of y'all, it's a reflection of them. They can't see you happy because they know they're not happy.
Right.
Wow.
That's good, son.
It's what it is. You know what I mean? And some of them got to go. And then, well, yeah, all right.
All of them. That's what she said.
The other side of that, and I actually just sent a tweet out earlier about it, was you got to understand when your presence for somebody is toxic for them as well. You know what I mean? So we always talk about, oh, they toxic, get them out. But what if you're toxic for them? You see what I'm saying? So you
Interesting.
pull yourself out of their life so that they can get better as well. Because not every third wheel that seems fun needs to be your third wheel right now. They might need to figure it out on their own, you know? So
Right.
Well, I think that's a really healthy two things you said. I think the last thing you said is very healthy to be able to recognize when sometimes extracting yourself is to the benefit of the other, which shows how really just self-effaced you are. You know who you are. You know what you bring to an equation. I thought that was powerful, and I think that's a real sign of maturity as a parent. I just ratcheted up in my pride level right there to another level, just to be able to say, I realize I'm not for everyone. The people I benefit, but for some people, just our combination organically isn't to their benefit. And I know how to withdraw myself for them, not necessarily for me, but for them.
Right.
But the thing I want you both to talk about, because you both mentioned it, is at what point did you see the necessity or the value in making a contribution, though sometimes unsolicited, to other couples for the sake of their well-being? I mean, I think it's remarkable that the two of you at this point in your journey understood the value of paying it forward by benefiting another couple. Say more about how you got to that
Especially
point.
a couple who were further down the road than you, a year ahead of you.
Yeah.
You can talk more about that.
Okay, absolutely. So this comes back to the whole COVID-19 conversation that we had. One of the things that Duran and I have really been diving into is our purpose. We know that we are both in such a unique situation. We were super fortunate and blessed to come from two-parent household. That is invaluable. The things that we saw, that we learned, how to talk to each other, how to disagree, how to resolve conflict. We saw that growing up. And even every day, we realize things that we didn't know that we learned growing up. He'll tell you, that's like your mom. I'm like, you know what? I did act like my mom because the old Deandra would have done it. But it's just so much that we are appreciative of because we were blessed to grow up in the situation that we did. And so with that, we believe that our purpose really is to help couples along the way, especially young couples. While we're young, we're learning so much. When we did premarital counseling, like that was fun for us because we just learned so much more about us and what it meant to be married. What does that look like? What is my role as a wife, his as a husband? And then also, we love giving back, like you all said, and we saw some marriages end in a very bad way. It was unhealthy, young marriages, and it hurt us to our core to see that happen. And so whatever we do, we want to protect our married friends. We want to help build that young Black married community, and that's important to us. That's a value.
I love that.
That's good.
What do you say to millennials, not even millennials, just people who don't see the value in marriage or don't see the need for marriage? What would you say to them?
Okay.
Okay.
You say okay.
Just say okay.
Honestly, and this, I'm a bit more progressive thinking when it comes to that. So in my mind, if you don't see the value in marriage, I would prefer you just not do it because you're gonna put somebody else through it that they don't deserve that. So if you're not in a place mentally where you feel like marriage is for you, then marriage ain't for you. Leave it alone.
Okay.
I respect that. I respect that.
That I feel like a lot of people just say that marriage isn't for them because they haven't found somebody that made them feel that way, or they're scared of what that means because they haven't seen a successful one yet. And so another part of what we've done a lot of is just understanding that fear is inevitable. There's no getting away from fear.
Right.
The matter is you have to figure out a way to deal with that fear. So either it's fight or flight. Either you fight through that fear and get to the next point, or you're paralyzed by fear. So a lot of that is just paralysis of I'm scared of marriage. So the only way I can live with that is just to say I don't like it.
Okay.
Wow.
So I guess to put that in a nutshell, like to put a bow on it, deal with your fear. Like dive deeper into that. Like, are you actually against marriage in general and you just want to kind of float out here? Cool. Enjoy. Do your thing.
Right.
But if that's not real, get down to the core of what that is, or you'll just be stuck in this cycle of watching other people get married and you subconsciously, you actually want to do that, but you're just stuck in this world of, well, I'm scared of it, so I'm just going to talk bad about it. But everybody else what people don't realize, that everybody else can see that you want it.
Right.
We can see it. So
right.
You're fooling nobody except yourself.
Except yourself. Right.
So deal with it.
Young Harvin, speak.
So I think again, you highlight this thread of self-awareness, which I think is so very valuable, regardless of what generation you find yourself. The whole notion of self-awareness and to that end, I don't want people to watch and listen to this conversation tonight and think, okay, they had an ideal upbringing because they came, as Deandra pointed out, from two-parent homes. And the Proctors this week celebrated, 41 years of marriage. We celebrated a few weeks ago 30 years of marriage. And so for some people, they sit back and say, okay, the deck was stacked for them. They didn't have any choice but to be successful. But to that end, I want you to be able to speak to as best as you can to those who didn't necessarily have the quote unquote ideal Huxtable reality. What are the things that the two of you in dealing and becoming forever Harvin. You know, and our motto, we call it love according to Harvin. That's our mantra and has been. We've given that as license to others to be love according to whoever. And so you are forever Harvin. What are the things that you do differently based on what you see? I mean, I appreciate and we appreciate and affirm and are grateful for the things that you saw and said, wow, I'm going to do the same thing. But what are the things that you saw that you said, I'm going to do this differently?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to, that's the question. And I want to frame it from this regard. Your whole principle and presence of self-awareness is the same on this side of the divide. We're aware that we're not perfect people. So what are the things that either of you are doing in your marriage that you're doing differently to show others, well, just because you got lemons doesn't mean that it's going to be a bitter and sour life. This is how we made lemonade in our generation.
Okay, so personally or as a couple, both?
Either way.
Either way.
Right. I would definitely say that one thing that I wanted to do differently is I wanted to always remain in communication with Durant. I didn't want to get an attitude and shut down. Like, that's not what I wanted to do. And I also always wanted to be able to express myself. I wanted to be a strong Black woman, but do it respectfully and not, ever disrespect Durant. So one thing that I personally am going to start doing, can you believe that therapists are booked up until December? I sought out a therapist, and I actually told my mom about it because, I would say women of her generation, they keep things in and they don't really talk about too much. There's family secrets and stuff like that. Like, I wanted to break certain generational curses. And I told my mom that I was looking for a therapist. She actually thought I was looking for a therapist for a friend. But I said, no, Ma, I want to talk to her. And she's like, really, Anna? Is everything okay? I'm like, Ma, it's nothing wrong. I just know that, my life has completely changed. I just want to talk about it to a professional. That's what they're there for. I pay for insurance. I have HSA. Let me use some of these coins.
I know that's right. Come on, girl.
Let me use some of these coins.
So I told her that, and probably like a couple of hours later, she called me and she said, you know what? I am proud of you for taking that step and doing that, owning it, and becoming the best version of you. So that's one thing that I've been doing. And also to piggyback off of that, Durant actually came to me, a couple of months ago. He's like, we should set up just quarterly check-ins just so that we can just talk to somebody and do a check-in, to do a temperature check. I was like, okay, I didn't have to think that up. I like that.
And let me say this to you. I applaud you because, like your mom, that's something that even in our generation, it's not very common. It's becoming more common. Mm-hmm. But when we were you, that was definitely not something that we were taught to do.
Right.
Nothing that we were encouraged to do. As a matter of fact, it was more the opposite. You keep your business your business. You don't talk about it. You don't share it. You don't disclose it. You just deal with it on your own. So I applaud you for taking that step. And I hope that other people will do the same because, again, it goes to taking care of your mental health and self-care and, mental health, not just for you as an individual, but even as a couple, doing those check-ins. I think it's excellent. So good for you. Good for you.
That's wonderful.
Good for you.
Do that better. And I think the thing that really makes me happy is that I can see lived out right here on this screen the notion of every round goes higher.
Right.
Because I think about my parents, I think about who I am, and then I'm looking at you. You're the next generation. And trust me, Forever Harvin gives us a whole new level of this is what it means to do it better, do it differently.
Yes.
And just because you do it differently doesn't mean what was done was wrong. It just means when we know better, we do better.
Right. Yeah.
Anything else you're doing differently?
I think for me, I'm very cognizant. I'm a very prideful person. I get that from both of y'all, to be honest. But I take big pride in my name and what I represent. And so when interacting with her, I'm always very cognizant of drop your pride. Drop your pride. You know, I'm always reminding myself because it's so easy, specifically as Black men and Black women, when we go into the workplace and just in the world in general, we have to carry that pride on our shoulders day in, day out.
Right.
You have to be very intentional about filtering that pride when you walk back in. Like, so you just, because obviously you don't want to, and we've done this before where I work in the music industry sometimes, and basically you have to be a bit cutthroat in that world. And so there's been times where we've been arguing like 2 years ago when I just got into it, and she's like, "Why are you talking to me like that?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then I have to really take a step back and say, "Wow, I was really in there negotiating with her. Like, she owed me money, like for real, you know." So, but it's part of just understanding that you got to be vulnerable in these conversations. Like that's a part of it. And so I talk to a life coach probably what is it, every 60 days or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I just drop everything. Little white lady, she a little weird, but she hear me out, and she is a little weird. She's a little
That's okay. It's okay.
But she's gotten to know me to a point where she even said something to your degree. She's like, "You seem so much more open." And I was like, "I feel like it. You know, like I just feel like I'm more in tune with what's happening internally and what's happening in my mind and why." You know, because I feel like a lot of people can diagnose how they feel, but a lot of people don't go the next step of why do you feel that way.
Right.
There you go.
Because you can deal with, you can put a Band-Aid on what's happening, but until you actually deal with why that's happening,
Right.
it's gonna keep happening. It's gonna repeat. So that's what I think I'm doing different. I'm going to that next level. Where did that come from? And it could be something small as granddaddy showing up to a basketball game when I was 11, and it was the first time I seen him in 5 years. I'm like,
wow, you remember that?
But I can
trace
that back as to why I act a certain way about different things. You know what I mean? So
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That's good.
Proud of you. Proud of both of you. Wow.
That's good stuff. I mean, I think that one of my takeaways from tonight's conversation is the value of self-awareness. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that, I mean, and it'll sound redundant because we almost say it in every week of Late Night with the Harvins, every time we broadcast, is the importance of being friends with your partner. And I think the quote, the hashtag for the night is hashtag I like my husband. I like my partner. And I think that it just goes back to something we said our first night when we started this webisode experience. And just remember, I came kicking and screaming to this. But we said
he loves it now.
Oh, I love it now. But at the end of the day, I don't believe that marriage works. Relationships don't work if the people involved aren't friends. You
Absolutely.
got to, in the words of Deandra, you got to like.
You gotta like
the person you live with.
Right.
I mean, like them.
Yeah, you really do, especially in the age of Corona. I mean, I can't imagine living, being quarantined with someone I don't like. I just couldn't, laying down, going to bed every night with somebody I don't like.
I mean, the image that comes to my mind, to be in quarantine with somebody you didn't like, I would just rather break the window and let the jagged glass just come and chop my neck off in the window pane. I just can't. I mean, that's just too much of your time, too much of your time spent with something you don't like. Now, to that end, another thing I want you to talk about is how are you all balancing the blessing of your marriage, your relationship, your friendship, and something that you just kind of gave us a window in, and your professional dreams and your professional demands. And I know y'all got a couple irons in the fire now. How are you balancing that? And you determine. I mean, this is just talk about this response. You determine how much you share in this context, but how are you balancing that?
So from a professional standpoint, I mean, we're both ascending pretty quickly, corporate world. What we've also identified from having conversations with each other that ain't really what we want to do. So it's one of those things where so to answer your question in short, what we've done is we've had very honest conversations about here's where we are professionally and financially. Here's where we are. And then we have a conversation about where do we want to go. And it used to be a situation where it was just a money grab. Like everything was, let's get as much as we can so that we can do as much as we want to do. We were just ripping and running all the time. Slowing down has caused us to shift our definition of success. So now it's no longer, okay, if you offer me twice as much as I'm making now, I'm out. Now it's, well, I'll take the same amount, but can I get a little bit more freedom? Can I just run around and do what I want to do and just do my job and you ain't going to bother me? So that's more so where our mindset has shifted. So from a balancing standpoint, I guess that was more so like how our corporate world integrates with our daily life. But from a balance standpoint, we typically, when we off, it's off. Like I'm not checking emails unless it's money. Leave me alone, so we turn it off.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. And then we also make sure that we schedule time to talk about what it is that we want to do outside of our 9 to 5. So even though we might be tired, we might not feel like it, we're going to take that time, even if we just sit there and kind of just brainstorm instead of having a deep, constructive conversation. We are going to spend that time to invest in ourselves. So we make sure that we remain disciplined to that. Sometimes we do fall off, but we're going to remain disciplined to that. And, we got, like Jerron said, we have a different set of goals, a new pair of eyes, vision to see what our next dream is. And so I'm very grateful to God for that. As Durant mentioned earlier, that comes with a whole new suitcase of fear. But it's also taught us, hey, now we got to fast. We got to wake up earlier to make sure that we're praying, we're reading, we're making sure we're in the Word. I make sure that I say every single morning, I don't care if it's the weekend, I'm getting up at 7:30 and I'm saying my daily affirmations just so that I start my morning with what I want to think and I speak to fear. I might roll back and go to sleep, but I do that. So
I get you.
That's awesome.
I read my little Our Daily Bread, so
he coming along.
He ain't done with me.
Go ahead, son. Read your daily bread.
So now it seems to me that the two of you are very supportive in not only maintaining your commitment to your dreams and your goals, but you share in supporting one another in your spiritual foundation. How's that work?
It's tough because I would like to be somewhere different than we are, but it works now. Every Tuesday, we say our prayers together. Durant gets 6 other nights out the week to say his prayer in the morning, whenever he wants to. But come Tuesday evening, we are saying our prayers together. And I just feel like we encourage each other by our actions. So if we stay committed to what we say we're going to do, whether that be reading, praying, fasting, whatever that is, that encourages the other person. So I used to try to beat the Bible over Durant's head. Not really, but I used to be like, come on, I need your help encouraging me. Like, come on. But it's us encouraging each other by doing what we're supposed to.
It's
good.
The difference between us in that regard literally can be traced back to she's AME Zion and we kind of just did our own thing. Because she has this very structured approach. And I'm more so, all right, it's lunch. I got 20 minutes. Cool. Let me do whatever I need to do real quick. And she's like, no, 6 o'clock every Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to read this doxology and
Doxology.
and I just can't operate. Nothing in my life is like that. So I just can't. That don't make sense to me. I'm like, you put me in a box. I can't do the box. Leave me alone. You know what I mean? So we've learned to meet somewhere in the middle.
Happy medium now.
The fusion of the two is powerful, though.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
You got to have the learning and the burning, the structure and the strength.
What do you say, Shondo?
Kevin said, come on, doxology. my goodness. Wow.
So let me ask, when you think about the world that we're living in now, I'm interested to hear, how does the country look? How does it feel for you, given the fact that we're talking to dreamers, we're talking to people who work hard, but when you think about the Breonna Taylors, the George Floyds of the world, how is that impacting in your existential reality? What's the world look like right now, especially in light of the fact that we're,
25 days.
we're 24 days from an election? How are you feeling right there, right now?
I'm a bit torn. On one side, I'm very like, anytime an election comes up, because and Devin can probably, I don't know if he's on here, but he can speak to this as well. The economy takes a hit, and so in my mind, millionaires are made when the economy sucks. So I'm trying to position myself for that. But on the other side, there's this, and I'm sure everybody feels it. There's like this weird energy that one bad thing and it can get real out here. Like it can get ugly. So I'm also like, I need to schedule some time in the gun range, just in case people want to act crazy. We live in Florida, so, and it's nothing but, them up and down my street, so I'm torn. I'm in both entrepreneurial mode and then I'm in defense mode. So I have to pick each day which way I'm gonna go, because I'm all or nothing. Like either I'm riding that way, and I'm wearing it on my sleeve, and I did that for a while when this all first hit, and she was even like, "You gotta take a step back," like because I was irritated over the smallest stuff at work, and because it's I'm the youngest VP and I'm black. They looking at me. I'm showing up to Zoom meetings with a backwards cap, and they love the swag, but then they say little stuff. I'm like, wait, who are you talking to? Like, you know what I mean? So I'm turning my little Zoom video off, and I'm upset. You know what I mean? But so I got to pick an option. Either I'm gonna be, entrepreneurial, or I'm gonna be in, fight the power mode. So I'm torn, to be completely honest.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay. DeAndre?
That
black woman?
It's heavy for me. It's very heavy. I try to remain hopeful. That's all I try to do, because like Duran said, the moment one thing gets to me, it's bad, because I don't want to become hypersensitive to them, to some of my colleagues. And I also, I'm not gonna act like I'm not black. You see this, we're here. And so I actually, a good amount of my colleagues have reached out to me. My job has put on a conversation, has established a stage for us to converse about it. So I very much so appreciated it. But that also is giving me a tap on my back, like, okay, D, it's time to go. It's go time. Like, let's lock in and get your stuff done so you can create your own destiny.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good.
I think that's good. That's helpful to others. Well, we're at the point now where we only have single digit minutes remaining. And so I want to just kind of open up for questions. I mean, we've had a rich conversation. You all have dropped some really valuable nuggets for anyone watching today. But let's open it up to the web, to the world for questions. Let's see where we are. I want to just commend you while people are typing their questions into the comment lines. Whatever platform you're on, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, put your questions in now, and we can see what you can get from Forever Harvin. Well, we have the offer from here, Love According to Harvin. Regardless, it's late night. Let's get some daylight revelation for you. If you have any questions, please put them in now. But let me just continue, and let me applaud and affirm you in your quest of self-awareness and self-actualization. And just realize that The only thing that stands between you and your dream is you, because the power and the capacity to make it come to pass is already inside of both of you. And I believe together, you are the force of the kingdom to be reckoned with and to bring not only our families, but our people, and not just our people, our nation, to a greater awareness and actualization of what I think was a creed declared hundreds of years ago. Something for all people to find their place and their position prosperously at this hour, and I mean prosperously across the platform. Do we have any questions? I mean,
no, I just got a lot of comments of how well spoken you guys are. Thank you, you two young people. Please be safe in Florida. Okay, what's one thing you really enjoyed doing together during this first year? Okay, what's one thing you two really enjoyed doing together during this first year of marriage, even though it may not have been what you planned due to Corona? One thing.
I guess. I usually leave her behind on shows, so we've been doing better with watching shows together.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you binge and just go ahead of her.
Oh yes, seasons ahead.
Yeah.
Do you ever catch up?
No, I just leave it alone. Like, that ain't for me. Find something else.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I do that too.
Terrible.
She asks too many questions though. Like, we'll be watching the show and I'm like, pay attention, because this is one of those shows.
This one too.
You're gonna be lost for the rest of the time, and then the time comes.
Yes.
But I wouldn't be lost if you didn't go out running ahead of me.
Nah. This be situation where we side by side, and she want to be on her phone. I'm like,
exactly.
Pay attention.
Walking out, he'll go out, walk out the room, come back in. What happened?
Taking phone calls. I don't got time.
You should pause.
Exactly.
I'm supposed to just pause my life if you want to take a call.
So one thing that I enjoy is playing basketball with Durant. So the first couple times he beat me bad. But let me tell y'all, when I got my win, I hit him with the Kobe 3. It was No, he thought I couldn't hit a 3.
Namesake.
I don't know why you
say it ain't so. Say it ain't so.
I don't even know why y'all entertaining this.
Say it ain't so. Okay.
This like playing on the Fisher Price hoop. She ain't no traveling. She jumping up and down. I'm like, all right, you can go ahead. So she getting better, but no.
I won a few times.
Okay. Wow. You got it.
She no candidate for a playoff ring just yet.
Nah.
She wouldn't even get picked up at the pickup line.
Oh, wow.
That ain't right.
That was shady. Oh, that was so many shades of darkness. All right.
It's only factual.
Okay. All right. What else we have? What else we have right there? I don't know why. For whatever reason, I can see the broadcast. I can't see no comments today.
Because you have it up to.
I have it what? You know, me and technology not getting along today. I'm just trying to tell you.
All's fair in love and basketball. Okay, Tev. Somebody's laughing at your Fisher Price comment, Durant. Sister Zimmerman. Well, everyone is saying how blessed they have been tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So look at the blessing you've been at your first anniversary. So if you could look into the crystal ball of forever Harvin, as it were, what's next? What's next?
Well, we're working on a event series for young marriages. So be on the lookout for that. It'll be I'll spare details till we actually iron it out, but
I got you.
It'll be good. It'll have like actual curriculum to it. We'll go away somewhere and try to build up basically a clan of us. A community of us.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Building up a clan of you. I like that. y'all take this go and make disciples thing seriously. Y'all take that thing seriously.
Yeah, we're trying to make it happen. It's a need out there because
it is a need. It's a great need.
To our point, we've seen a lot of, I won't say a lot, we've seen a handful of marriages crumble before our eyes. And it boils down to simple stuff that if we can deal with it with a lot of people, they'll be all right. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying we perfect by any means, but
right,
we own our crap. You know what I mean? We own it. You know, so I think that's the big thing is, can you own it and deal with it? And I think that's what we're really trying to build as a environment where people can show up. And as long as you're willing to own it, we can help you get through it. But if you ain't willing to own it, I don't know if you need to come to that event because I'm not as nice when you come to that.
Very good, very good, very good.
I think that you all, what you have planned for young couples will be such a blessing to them. And again, when I think about us when we were you know, didn't even have that thought in mind. Not because we were selfish, but because, again, it wasn't something that was encouraged. So, you know, it was just survive. You get married and you work it out between the two of you and God, and that's it. And so for you all to be forward thinking as you are is amazing. I think it's amazing. So stay with it because people need it. We have seen a lot of marriages fall apart. We've seen it, you know, ministry marriages and non-ministry marriages just fall apart. And most times those people suffered in silence. You know, they didn't have mental health. They didn't think about going to mental health professionals to talk things through. They didn't have other couples that they could trust and talk things through. So they dealt with it on their own or did not deal with it on their own. And then it all just fell apart. So, you know, I applaud you again. It's such a need. It's such a need. And those of you who are not friends of the young Harvins, you know, find some couples, find someone where you can be honest with, you can be transparent, you know, with them. Find a mental health professional. I think it's so important, so vital to a healthy marriage, you know, is that you are a healthy person, you know, mentally, emotionally. So, yeah.
And to that end, I really believe that what is a gift in this very hour, and I hate to sound redundant, but I'm appreciating seeing the progression in the generations. If we were at your age in survival mode, and now we look in your eyes and we see that we move from surviving to thriving,
right?
I believe that ought to be your mantra and your mandate. To bring couples, regardless of their age, into their thriving mode, to bring them into their thriving season. Because I think that for me, I'm sitting here saying, wow, if I were that smart when I was 20-something years old, where would I be now at 50-something year old?
Yeah.
And so it took us decades to get out of survivorship, so to speak, into thriving. And so I commend, I want to champion your efforts to thrive, to see what Forever Harvin looks like when Forever Harvin turns 10 and 20 and 30, and to see what seasons of thriving looks like. Because at that point, it makes it all worth it. It makes all of the years of challenge and struggle and surviving worth it. Because if I feel like I'm my grandparents' wildest dreams, I know what you two must be in the minds of your grandparents as their wildest dreams come true. I mean, to sit here and you're not 30 yet and you say VP, I'm like, hey, that's somebody's wildest dream.
My goodness. And your grandfather would be doing cartwheels.
I want to both your grandfathers and your godfather, your great uncle, doing backflips.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, that's for both Harvins and Proctors alike. You are that generation's wildest. So your challenge is to continue to do what you're doing. Don't be distracted. Don't let the weights hold you down or hold you back. Because trust me, if the sky were not the limit, God would have never allowed you to shatter the ceiling and the glass of the ceiling over you. So keep going, because other people are going with you. and you got the permission of the elders and of your God to leave people where they choose to stand. Don't let anybody guilt you or shame you into dumbing down or staying back when the mantra that's on your life, the mandate is on your life, is to go forward, to go higher, because people whose names and faces you do not know are counting on you and will be blessed just simply by you becoming who you are. Thank you, Forever Harvin.
Thank you, Forever Harvin.
Thank you for being happy first anniversary.
Love you guys so much.
Many more. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another webisode. I think I made that word up. Thank you for joining us for another webisode of Love According to Harvin. Remember, whatever you do, don't ever give up on love. Don't ever give up on looking up, because guess what? That which endures lasts, and that which lasts is rooted in love. Get out your vote. Make sure everybody votes.
Yes,
y'all know my rule.
please.
If you don't vote, you can't sit at my table. If you can't sit at my table, you will not eat. And it's a proverb right there. The one that doesn't vote will starve, but the one that votes makes the difference for tomorrow. We love all of you. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Harvin.
Thank you. Love you. Stay
Have
safe.
a good night. Everybody be well. Thank you. And good night. What's wrong with the mouse? The mouse won't want to work. Hey, good night. We love you. See you next week.
Bye. Love you guys.